Hello, and welcome to Women in Business, where we interview entrepreneurs and senior managers and show you the strengths, successes, obstacles, and roadblocks women experience in business. Since I believe every person in business needs to be visible, I'd like to invite you to watch www.sob6, that's the number 6, tips.com, which will give you some valuable information should you get the call to be on radio or TV, which I think is extremely important. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at Gayle Carson, that's Gayle, Gayle Carson 13 at gmail.com, or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter.
Hi, everyone. This is Gayle Carson, and my guest today is Lorianne Vaughan. Lorianne Speaks is an expert in the area of speaker-author support. She amplifies the visibility of authors, speakers, messengers while they do what they love, speak. She's helped spearhead multiple best-selling book campaigns, editing, proofing, through to launch and social media marketing to help authors create buzz and momentum throughout the social media platforms and increasing their message worldwide. She and her team have made it their mission to empower speakers to deliver their message by handling the rest of the details. Welcome, Lorianne. How are you?
I'm great, Gayle. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I do appreciate it.
Well, I have to start off by asking you, what made you decide to go into business for yourself?
An interesting happening. My boss, who I worked with for 15 years, was a very well-known thought leader and author, and she decided to retire. So I found myself out and unemployed at 60, which is, needless to say, a very scary situation. And after about 3 months of just sending resumes out, I realized corporate America didn't want a 60-year-old. Those silly people. So I created my own company, and now I work with up-and-coming speakers and authors to help them grow. So being 60 and unemployed, the only way to work was to make my own company.
Well, I totally agree with you there. So since you started late in life, what has been your biggest obstacle?
My biggest obstacle, and you'll get a kick out of this, is technology. It's a situation where I have a lot of great networking contacts, and so I was able to get the message out, but just creating the presence of my own self, because I'd always done it for everybody else. I was sort of the cobbler without any shoes, because I'd been so busy doing other people's social media that I never really established a presence of my own. So I think building my own presence has been the biggest obstacle, because I do know what I'm doing with regards to my business. It's just a matter of getting the word out.
So, but if you did all of this work for others, in other words, if you did all the social media, et cetera, for others, how come it became an obstacle for you?
Just, you know how it is. It takes a while to build that network, whether it's Twitter or LinkedIn. LinkedIn, my network is actually very good, but they have those people that I know in the industry were really the leadership, career development people, and they had their organizations in place. So I had to reinvent who my avatar, my ideal client was, and realized, those that are already established may not need me as much as those that are really trying to break through. So I really needed to shift my idea of what my ideal client was. And in doing so, I've really grown the business in this last year to a point where I'm now, I now have 5 people working with me.
That makes a big difference. So what have you learned as you grew your business? What was the biggest lesson that you took away from all of this?
I think my biggest lesson is the fact that you really need to find what it is that you can solve for the ideal client, and be authentic in that knowledge and the desire to help them. I was when I first started, I was truly going for the top dog, and then realized, wait a minute, they don't need me; they're already there. Let's help the up and coming people, and it's something that I've learned, and through this process, because I've not had the organization behind me, I've found that this old dog can learn a lot of new tricks. And
well, that's so true. People say to me all the time, why do I keep learning, and why do I keep asking questions, and why do I keep going to conferences and go to webinars and things like this? And I say, because if I stop learning, then I'm dead, So
exactly.
I certainly get exactly what you're saying. So now that you've experienced being your own boss, what do you like most about it?
The fact that I'm my own boss. No one's micromanaging me, and and I can make decisions that I know from my gut are right. Now, when I talk to a client and they're working with me, and they say, I really want you to do A, B, and C. And what I offer is the ability and the knowledge to say, but have you thought about E, F, and G? I think that sometimes when you work with a VA, the virtual assistance kind of person, if it's a one type person, they are good at taking a direction and just finishing a certain aspect, but they're not necessarily the partner you may need to actually grow the business with the knowledge that I bring after 15 years of working with this past thought leader. So,
well, there's nothing like being your own boss. I mean, you either have to fire yourself or like what you're doing. That's your those are your two choices. But
exactly, and I've found that I really love my job now. Sometimes, after being in a place for 15,
you can set your own hours, although you are beholden to your clients to a degree, but still you can set your own hours. But you said you're what, 60? Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, I'm turning 61 this year.
All right. Well, that's okay. I've got you beat by several, so that's okay.
And you'd never notice. You'd never get that. So.
In fact, my daughter is 60 years old. So that you could be my daughter, Lorianne. So there you go.
God love you.
But so what would you give someone your age as advice if they wanted to start their own company? What would you tell them?
Well, I would say this is the perfect time to do so. We are now experiencing what's called the gig economy, in which you can work as much or as little as you so desire, but take your superpowers out to the world. You do not have to give up at 60 because corporate America may not want you. We are in such a turmoil of changing how the economy is working, and how many solopreneurs or small businesses who really can't afford to bring on full-time employees and all the benefits and everything that's associated with this. It is the perfect time to be a gig worker and go out and offer the skills that you have.
So but you said also in the beginning that technology was a big thing, and I'm just wondering if you think most 60-year-olds would find starting their own company a problem because of their lack of technical skills, or do you think that's something they just need to hire out or bring in as a partner, or what is your position on that?
Well, when I first started, I didn't have the finances to bring anyone in. But, I went to the GoDaddy site to create my site. I mean, there are avenues to build your technology and your platform that is not outrageously expensive. And in doing so, I built my website. I did my social media. I created my flyers and ebook on my own, and found that when you are offering your expertise, you will find the way to do it. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to do everything yourself. But no, I actually found a whole new excitement in learning new things again. Because, after 15 years, it kind of got to be a situation where, it was just like kind of mind-numbing, because I knew what I was doing and I wasn't really learning anything new. When I went in and created my own company and did so with the skills that I brought in, I then found I was quite capable of doing a lot more than I thought I was capable of doing.
Well, let's face it, we always underestimate. We either overestimate our skills and talents, or we underestimate them. I don't know if we're ever really realistic about them. I'm not sure about that. What about...
and I find that women underestimate themselves.
Well, that's true. That's true. There's and especially, when you start at 60, you say to yourself,
right,
well, my time's almost over, and, why am I doing this? But the whole point is your time is not over. You got a lot more years to go yet. So
exactly.
You started speaking yourself, though. Why did you decide to do that?
Well, I never really pictured myself as a speaker. I was the behind-the-scenes person. I was that person that was the details behind the speaker. But when I first started growing my business, I got myself a mentor who, in our conversations, just said, "Lorianne, you've got a lot to offer here. You need to get your message out and help other people." And so there I found myself with the Women's Speakers Association, and then went to the summit. And I found podcasting as like such an amazing thing that I really didn't know about before. And I think I have a message, and I realized that what I had to say was important, and that I still had a lot to offer to the young people that are trying to build their businesses. I think too often we put too much emphasis on technology and not enough on the relationship building and the actual details that need to take place.
Well, I totally agree with you there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But when you speak, what do you speak on, Lorianne?
Well, on two different things. This, in Don't Give Up. 60 is not old. Damn it. And we still do have a lot to offer. So that's actually one aspect of it. But I also have been a virtual person since the 90s. When I was raising my children, I was a recruiter that worked from home. The headhunter that placed people on both ends. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and always had, as one of the podcasters calls, the side hustle going at all times, because as a single mom, I needed to have more income. So I just think that being your own boss and being able to do what you love makes your workday so much more exciting and positive than necessarily, being that employee for someone else. And in less than a year, I am now making more than I was as an employee.
Wow. Well, that's always a good sign, right?
Yeah.
So you said you got a mentor to help you. What kind
I
of mentor
did.
was this?
It was a business development mentor. I think you know her, Melanie Benson.
Uh-huh.
And when we were talking, I positioned myself in a number of different Facebook groups and whatnot that catered to speakers and authors to offer my services as well and to help them. It doesn't always have to be a paid gig for me to help someone, Um, and so I found that through working with Melanie, there were things that I was willing to give away for free. And she said, Lorianne, stop that now. We're going to monetize this, that, and the other thing. But I needed someone, I think, in my corner that would tell me the truth. So often our friends are there saying, "Oh my God, you're so awesome, you're so awesome," and Melanie would call me on certain things and say, "Okay, now you need to do this, and now you need to do that I might not have understood the need to do." So I really think mentors are very important as you grow a business.
Well, I
Um,
certainly agree with you too. So
yeah.
let me ask you, where are you heading now with the business? What's the grand plan for LVS Consulting Services?
Well, my back end goal is to hire more marginalized women, such as myself, and that doesn't mean just old. That means the young moms that really want to stay at home but have their degrees and still would like to use their brain on a certain level. And so as I get more and more clients, I'm hiring more and more women to help me service them properly. And I'm able to, like with the young gals, let them stay at home, but make some income for the family. For some of my other people that work with me, they're being able to semi-retire. They may not want to work 40 hours a week, which actually works for me. Just, do you want to take on this project? I know that this is right up your alley. And so I have a network of people that I am looking to bring along with me as I grow. So it's been a real fun experience over these last 14 months. And the goal for 2019 is to actually get my daughter, who is brilliant, but with young children, she works nights and her husband works days. And I want to get her off of nights. And so I want to bring her on as a full-time employee with me to grow the business, because the girl is so smart. So,
Fantastic! Wow,
yeah.
that's a great ambition. So let me ask you something. You said that you work with speakers and authors and people like that. Do you
hmm
ever provide virtual assistants for anybody else, for any other kind of business or industry, or do you stick strictly to the speaking and writing professions?
Well, I myself am in that kind of niche. I do have people, and there's many things that we do that translates over to small businesses. Um, on my site, I have a free PDF for anyone that wants to build their speaking business. But if you look at the 10 things that I tell them they need to be doing right away, any person starting a small business should be doing these things as well. So yes, it is totally transferable, and I'd be willing to help any small business. I just think that my strongest knowledge base is with the speakers and authors.
So let me ask you, what do you find their biggest issue is? In other words, if you're working with, and I can understand this from my experience as I've been a professional speaker since 1980. So
hmm
what do you find that their biggest issue is? What do you help them with the most?
Well, again, it depends on the client, because I do have very well-known people in as clients, and for them, it's more helping them with their social media. They're too busy, if they're writing articles or doing speeches, I put out the tweets to make sure we're driving people to that article or to registration for wherever they're speaking. For some of the younger speakers that are not as well established, it's finding them some gigs so that they can get their message out there. So I do a lot of research for speaking opportunities. One of the things, though, that I have to teach a lot of them is that they're not going to get paid $5,000 on day one for every speech that they give. They need to realize.
Not?
I know. Don't you sometimes just roll your eyes? And I just sit there and go, no, you need to get out in front of people to truly get your message down. You need to speak anywhere and everywhere. And especially if you're a speaker that has something to sell, if if they have a training program or whatever, get in front of the audience, whether they're paying you or not, because you will get that client in return. So that's something that I'm really having to teach the young people out there, is that you need to pay your dues. There are ways to get known, and you need to just go ahead and do the work before you're, collecting $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 a speech.
That's
unless
so
you're
true. That's so
yeah,
true.
unless you're Barack Obama, they're not going to come looking for you. You got to go out there and find it.
That's right.
Exactly.
So where can people find you, Lorianne? What is your website? Where can they go to find out more information about the services that you provide?
Sure. It's www.lvsconsultingservices.com, and that's Lorianne Vaughan Speaks. So,
okay, lvsconsultingservices.com, and that's where they can get that free guidebook that you're talking about, that gives them the 10 things they really need to know.
Exactly.
Okay, so folks, if you're looking for a place to go to find out the things that you need to know to perhaps start a speaking career or any career, go to lvsconsultingservices.com and be sure you get that free book that she has, or this free ebook that she has, which will help you a great deal. So let me say this. What were the emotions that you had, Lorianne, when your employer, your speaker employer said, Lorianne, I'm going to retire? What kind of emotions did you go through?
Oh, fear. Especially through those first few months when, I was sending out resumes and there was not one bite. And so there was definite fear. Thankfully, I was in a position at 60, which can actually be a positive, because I no longer had children that I was having to put through school and things along that. All my children are adults with children of their own. But, there's that fear of, am I ever going to work again? That was very scary. But then I got pissed because I knew I had skills, and it was so frustrating to me because, as I said, corporate America doesn't seem to want you. And yet in this day and age, the average employee will only stay 2 to 3 years. Yet if you hire a 60-year-old, they're not going to change again. They don't want to go looking again. You've got them for 7. I mean, technically a 60-year-old today, we can't even really look at retirement until 67 now. So you've got 7 years of an employee staying with your company. And I marvel at the short-sightedness of corporate America. So I got pissed. So first I was scared, then I got pissed, and then I went, oh, hell's bells, I am good. I'm starting my own company. And then, I've been excited. I'm excited every day to get out of bed and come and learn something new and help another person. And I've always been a mom, so I kind of tend to want to just help people. So I think my whole essence is about helping people. And so I am jazzed every morning to get up to work. And I have such a terrible commute, it's 4 stairs. So
yeah, you can't miss that. So, folks, if
Yeah.
you want to get that ebook that tells you what you need to do in 10 steps to become a speaker or even own a business, go to lvsconsultingservices.com. And I have a new quiz for you called the sobquiz.com. If you want to find out more about you and your future and what you might be able to attain yourself, go to sobquiz.com, take it, and I think you'll be very happy with the results. And then you and I can discuss it if you'd like and go from there. But Lorianne, it has been a pleasure talking with you today, and hopefully great things will be happening. Your daughter will be joining the business, and more people will be able to take advantage of your services. So thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it.
Gayle, thank you so much. I do appreciate it myself. So thank you.
Thanks for listening to Women in Business. I hope you enjoyed today's show. And if you have any suggestions as to who you'd like me to have as a guest, just email me at gaylecarson13@gmail.com. Be sure to check out www.sob6tips.com. And in the meantime, go to www.spunkyoldbroad.com to see the resources I have for you.